Today's project is to fix an error. This is my 19.2 volt Craftsman power tool pack. And you'll notice that bottom row is awful crusty. Well, I couldn't find this pack and the tool it was plugged into for, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks. Well, it was out in the rain. And one of the cells, I think, emptied itself because of I don't know, maybe the water shorted it. Fresh water doesn't tend to short things terribly. But there was an 1/8 inch of this rusty muck that climbed all over that bottom row of cells. So I'm testing them, I'm cycling them, discharging them to 2.9 volts and then recharging them to 4.1 and seeing who's good and who's not. You can see the tabs out in the back there, one back here. They're disconnected because that cell is close to being shorted. A lot of these were okay. A couple of the bottom ones were shorted down to 0 volts, but a whole bunch of them were fine, and some of them have tested extraordinarily well. This is supposed to be a 4 amp hour pack, which, you know, everybody lies when it comes to batteries. So anyway, we'll find out. That sucker right there cost me $100 a year ago, and I'm just heartbroken that I left it in the rain. So anyway, that's one of them that I'm working on, trying to repair my error. The other one is right here. Now this one is part of a group of them. You can see this one here's got the circuit board gone. This one here's got these the tabs taken off. Now what happened with this one, at some point last year when I was working on all this, these were 2 good cells, these green ones, and I put them in there and made a whole pack. Now for whatever reason these 2 are discharged all the way to 0 and the rest of these are fine. Now could it be these cells were bad, or is it the circuit board? So I did a measurement between these tabs and these batteries, these cells. It's drawing 0.8 milliamps, and the math comes out at 24 hours a day that it would drain these batteries to 0 in about 67 days. So I think that's too high, because I know these sit in storage in Sears' warehouses and stuff sometimes that long, and they're supposed to hold their charge a very long time. So I think 0.8 is way too high, 0.8 milliamps. So I'm suspecting that this board has a problem, because I know those cells were decent. But what I'm doing this time is with that charger over there, I'm cycle testing them so I know actually what the capacity is. I didn't know what these capacities were in these 2 cells, but they held voltage well and they took a load well. So what I'll do is I'll take this pack here, and I'll cycle test these, label them for their capacity, and then do all these too. It's a lot of work. And then match them up. Take a pair out of here, stick them in here, and make this a functional pack again. Now the one thing I'm learning that I need to do is probably measure the current draw on all these boards. There's several of them here. Yeah, there's even more over here. But the newer version, let's see if this one's a newer one or not. No, this is an old one too. You can see these really nice plated copper bus bars, man. These are heavy duty, carry lots of current, low voltage drop, the whole thing, right? The problem is to get the board off, you got to unsolder it 6 places. Here, 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 and then back here, and here, and here. That's a lot. Okay, that's, you know, it's not that bad to do, but the newer ones, let's see, I think it's probably this one. Instead of having these bars, it has like a 20 gauge, maybe an 18 gauge wire, and I could pop that wire out and measure it on a couple of cells and a couple of different packs just to get an idea of what normal is supposed to be. Because this one, 0.8 milliamps, 67 days, these cells are dead, and this whole thing's been sitting here, man, it's got to be a year. It might even be longer. So if these cells are okay and these two are dead, you know, is the channel for this bad, or are these two cells bad? I just don't know. So I got to do some data collection on these other ones, and find out what's going on. But fortunately, the good news is these have been sitting for that same amount of time, and their voltage is still in them. So these are probably okay, and this group of red ones here is probably okay, because they've been sitting a long time and they haven't self-discharged into oblivion. So anyway, this one, since I'm working on that one over there on the charger, I thought, hey, I'll try this one and see if it works, and it was all discharged. So it started coming up pretty nice. Lithium does not tolerate being discharged low or to zero very well at all, so I don't expect the capacity to be very high, but I'm going to try it anyway. It'd be nice to know if this board worked, because I have these ones with the connector in the front, like that one too. Well, let's see. What they are is they connect to this switch here. And this is one of their early versions to tell you how much power is left in it. It's actually based on voltage. So this one says, hey, it's green, I'm in good shape. But, you know, a week from now, will it still be in good shape, or does it self-discharge itself to death? So these old ones, with this kind of connector and a separate board, as you can see in there, I have a bunch of them. So if I can find one or two or three that I can characterize and find out for sure that it's okay, then I can put a good pack together. Because this is a shame. This shouldn't have happened. But these cells either self-discharged or got self-discharged. And so if they sat here for a year and my math shows 67 days they'll be shorted, then there's something up with this board. So anyway, I might even take one of these and unsolder it and then hook jumpers across everything to just try to characterize these old ones. I can characterize a new one, but you know, that's not totally fair because it's a different design. It seems like every time, I don't know, maybe every year, every 6 months, they come out, the battery looks the same on the outside, but it's a different board on the inside. And I know these bus bars cost some money, that's why they went to wire. I'd rather have these, but for testing and troubleshooting, the wire is much better because I can just unsolder it from the board, you know, put my meter across it, measure the current, and, you know, be golden that way. Anyway, so that's what's happening right now. So I'm taking this one, and with the power supply, I've manually connected the jumpers across each pair of cells. They're wired in, there's 10 cells, which is 5 pairs. And each pair I'll put this across and peak them off to, you know, about 4 volts. So these are got pretty close. They're within, you know, probably 100 millivolts, 80 millivolts of each other, and top it off in there. So we'll find out what happens. That's how that goes. That's what we're working on, trying to get these done so we can get them useful. You know, these batteries are not cheap and easy. So anyway, the only thing left is this one is it's a new battery. It's a good battery. I just wanted to make sure it was still dry, and I would pull it apart if I could get, but I only have one hand. Let's see if we can do this. I hope this isn't too long. Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, so come on, baby. There we go. Okay, so now this one you can see the difference in the board. It's got these wires on it instead of, oh gosh, it's hard to see those out of frame, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. So what happens is these bus bars are expensive. That little piece of wire there, that's cheap. So different circuit board, blah, blah, blah. The other thing they've changed over time is, look at that big old heatsink. It's got a lot of fins on the other side, but it's massive. And this one's got one, but it's got no fins. So what they did over time was they made these less mass. There's less aluminum in them. And the thing is, there's not really any ventilation for them. So it just gets the heat away from the transistor. It doesn't get it necessarily out of this enclosure. But, you know, these are considered intermittent duty, so that's why they do it that way. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. This one, I'll keep trying to level it off with the power supply and then sending it over to the charger. Every now and then I could drill to it and pull some power out of it and then, you know, run it again. So we'll see how that one comes out. After I get this done today, I'm just going to let that one sit for several days. Come back, measure the voltage, and see if they've all changed very much. And that's today's Craftsman 19.2 volt battery project. Oh, and by the way, I do have a ton of the NiCad ones, but I'm not going to rebuild those. I can. I mean, you can get NiCads real cheap, but man, these lithiums, they have higher torque and they last longer if you don't charge them. If they're sitting around, normally they last a lot longer. NiCads and nickel metal, they self-discharge pretty quick. So anyway, don't mean to blather on, but that's what today's project is. So I'm running between the charger over there, cycling. Let's see how it's doing. Is it finished? No, it's finished discharging. You look to the left of the display, you see the C blinking, which means now it's charging. So it discharged it down to 2.9 volts. Now it's cranking it back up. And the cell that it's on is not in great shape, but I just got to test it. I got to know, I have to have data. Anyway, so between that one and this one over here, I'm trying to bring a couple of these back. I really would love to have this one running, because I think those cells are good. I just don't know if the board is good. 0.8 milliamps. Ooh. That's just not good. That's a lot to sit around. So, anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for your time and your tolerance. See you, bye.